Do you know who you are? I know for me personally, I'm still trying to figure it out. If you watch any of my previous videos, I talk about going through infertility for 7+ years. And through that process, it was very depressing. It was a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety. Then to finally becoming a mom. And for the first time, I had my daughter in 2019. Then I had my son in 2023. While I was pregnant with my son, my husband got sick, left his successful company, and things kind of like just went downhill from there. And so I never had a moment through that process to even regroup or to focus. It was just like, okay, I have to go get a job, any job. And at that moment, I was forced into survival mode. I didn't think about, okay, well, what can I go do? What can I go do for myself? What can I do to, fill my cup? I wasn't thinking about any of those things. I was thinking about, do my kids have what they need? Do my kids have everything they need? Are they good? Is everything paid for? And it switched to that mode. We are coming out of that season. Thank you, Jesus. And my husband is doing better. He faced health challenges from his time in the military, and it just became one thing after another after another. But we are coming out of that season. But during that process, I definitely feel like one, motherhood, first and foremost, is the best hood ever. But it's also a hood where you can start to lose yourself, where you can start to forget about yourself, your self care, the things, your aspirations, the things that you want to do, hanging with friends, having a social life, which is something that I dropped completely. Again, I was in survival mode, so I had a lot of different layers happening, and so I dropped all those things. And so at the top of this year, I went to brunch with my sister and two of my sorority sisters, and we were just talking about like what our goals were for this coming year. And I said, I feel like mine's is self care. Like, I feel like I definitely have not cared for myself. I have not spent time with myself. I haven't had, that level of care for myself that I'm pouring into other people. I have not had time to do that. And so, like, everyone clapped at the table and was like, oh, that's a good one. And so I've been focusing on that this year. And within the self-care, it's okay, who am I? You know, what are my goals? What do I want to do? And I had this conversation with my aunt, and she told me that when her kids graduated, she did not know what to do with herself. When her kids graduated from high school, that is, she did not know what to do with herself. She said, my entire life was wrapped in them. My entire life was wrapped in all their activities, from the acting to the drama schools to the plays to all those things to the football season. She's like, my entire life was wrapped in all of that. So she said, when they graduated, I was lost. Like, what am I supposed to do with myself? What do I do on the weekends? What do I do in the evenings? And so I joked with her and I said, well, obviously my kids aren't anywhere close to graduating. My daughter just turned 7 and my son is 2. He'll be 3 in September. I said, but I found myself in that space, um, even back in January, dealing with the self care. Like, what's next for me? Yes, I'm pouring myself into my family, I'm pouring myself into my kids, but what is next for me? Who are you? What do you want to do? And so her and I were like talking it through, and I said, honestly, I'm not going to wait till they get out of high school. I'm trying to figure out that now. I said, I want to go, I love to bake. I said, I want to go take a baking class. Like, I really want to explore that more. I said, I want to open up some businesses. I want to invest in franchises. Like, there's things that I want to do as a businesswoman. There's things I want to do just as a hobby, baking. And of course, getting back to writing. I said I had such a discipline before becoming a parent where I wrote every single day. Obviously, I had plenty of time on my hands, but I wrote every single day. I said in this past year, I have not done that at all. Like, it's just been okay, well, let me take care of this, let me take care of that, let me take care of this. And I said, I have not had the time to do that. I said, so I want to figure out a way to, one, take care of myself, and within that, find and get back to the things that I enjoy and figuring out who I am, because I had to sit down with myself and say, who are you? I don't know. Like, I couldn't even write anything down on the page. Like, who am I? I don't know. Am I a stranger to myself? Maybe I am. And so I'm trying to figure that out in real time. Like, who am I? I know God has given me certain gifts. Like, I'm highly, highly creative. I can write. I'm a playwright. I'm a TV writer. I'm an independent producer. Like, these things exist, and that is a part of me. But as a whole, who am I? And I don't have the answer for that yet, but I'm trying to figure it out. But I feel like part of figuring that out is starting with caring for myself and just starting with baby steps. Like, okay, I'm going to sign up for that cooking class. I haven't done it yet, which I said back in January I was going to do this, and I haven't carved out the time to do it yet. But I said, okay, I am definitely, which I did find a place that does the class that I'm interested in, which is baking specifically. Um, I said, I'm going to take that class. One of these Saturdays, I'm going to find a time to take it, and it's going to be before the year ends. And then I'm going to get back to, like, I enjoyed walking in the park by myself. And, going to the park with your kids is different than going by yourself, because when you go with your kids or you take them with you, when you say you're going to go on a walk, you don't get to enjoy the walk. You don't get to, have your own thoughts, and those thoughts, figuring out while you're walking around, who am I? What do I want to do next week? What do I want to do today? And one of the things that I did on my walk, I haven't walked now really since the summer started. It's been sporadic. But I'm gonna get back to that once, some of this heat goes away. It's very hot here. I live in Georgia. So I have been walking on my treadmill, but my kids come and knock on the door. So it's not like private time where I'm in my own thoughts. But one of the things that I do when I walk around the park is I pray. I also start, processing, who am I? What do I want to do next? I know I don't. Well, I'm not. I'm not staying in the season that I'm in right now, working a job that I'm working for a paycheck. It's not fulfilling. It's not something that I want to do, but I'm there because I have to be, just like many women, just like many moms, just like most of America. They're at a job that they don't like, that's not satisfying to them, that's not fulfilling to them, but they're grateful to have a paycheck. And I'm grateful to have a paycheck. I just know this is not my permanent season. As I say, Jesus did not die for this. He did not die for me to stay on this job and to do this. You okay, buddy? You okay? Okay. So yeah, it's just like trying to figure out and try to process, who are you? Who am I? What goals do I want for myself? What are the things I want to do for myself? And I feel like this year, out of the past 3 years, because my husband started having health issues over 3 years ago, the top of this year was the first year that I've ever said to myself, who are you? And I felt like that was a journey to change for me. That was a journey of starting to, okay, pick yourself up, put one foot in front of the other, start to navigate this process of figuring out things for yourself in real time. And one of the things in figuring out things in real time, when I was in the height of going through those issues, with my husband's health and being everything in the household, doing everything in the household, which is extremely stressful. I was just trying to process in that time, not just who am I, but I was trying to get through the day basically. So I was, again, in survival mode. And there was no time to think about these goals or think about, okay, how am I going to build something? How am I going to build a platform? Because my mind was not my frame of mind was not there. I was just thinking about, okay, how do I get through this day? But now, fast forward to now, as I'm sitting at this job, as I'm getting up super early in the morning to make my schedule work for my family, for my kids, so that when my daughter gets out of school, I'm here, I'm present, we're starting her homework, and I actually have time to be with her. Those things, I'm grateful to build my own schedule, but it's also exhausting. I get up at 4:30 in the morning and I don't go to bed till after 11 o'clock. Sometimes I don't go to bed till midnight. So I don't get enough sleep. I'm working on that as part of my self care, trying to figure out ways to get my time back and to do the things that I want to do. But again, the question that I'm constantly asking myself within these past couple months is, who are you? Where are you going? What do you want to do? And how are you going to get there? And if you've asked yourself that question in these past couple months, in these past couple years, and you're figuring it out like me in real time, like I don't particularly have a map to say, okay, this is what I'm doing today, this is what I'm doing tomorrow, but I know that I'm figuring it out, and I know that I'm not staying in a season that I'm in right now. So I would love to hear your story. I would love to hear about what you're navigating, what you're working through, and when you came to the conclusion, when did you come to conclusion rather, that you are trying to figure out who you are?